Hello, my name is Lexi Wiggins. I am in International Sports Management 337, and for this video, I will be discussing the conflict between Cricket Australia and the Australian Cricket Association, also referred to as ACA. Let's get started. So this conflict all started when a Cricket Australian player, Cameron Bancroft, was caught on video tampering with the ball during a match against South Africa. In a later press conference after the game, Bancroft admitted to this tampering with a form of sandpaper that he concealed in his pocket. This paper was there in order to enhance his grip, giving him an advantage against the other team. At the same press conference, the then team captain Smith admitted to knowing about the tampering plan and being involved with the development of it. Both were charged a percentage of their match fees. Bancroft was charged 75% and Smith was charged 100%. It was next discovered that the vice team captain, Warner, was also involved and had knowledge of the ball tampering plan. He was then strongly advised to resign and step down from his post and soon did in the following days. Not too far after him, Smith also stepped down very quickly from his role as team captain. However, the punishments did not stop there. All three players, Bancroft, Smith, and Warner, were suspended from the remainder of the games for that season. In addition, Bancroft was suspended from all international and domestic matches and was not able to be considered for any leadership roles for an additional 12 months after his suspension ended. Smith and Warner were also suspended from all international and domestic matches and were not to be considered for any leadership roles at any point in the future. Cricket Australia came down very hard on these three players, with extensive punishments, physically, financially, and emotionally. This is where the issue really arises. Were these punishments fair and just, or were they too excessive? ACA and Cricket Australia clearly have very different stances on this issue, and we will get into that more in a minute. So ACA felt that the punishments were too extensive and proved to be unjust compared to previous punishments that had been handed down to players for similar situations in the past. Australian Cricket Association also said that the punishments imposed too great of a financial and emotional burden on the players involved, Bancroft, Warner, and Smith. So as stated, the issue here is whether or not these punishments were fair to the players. Did Cricket Australia go too far? It goes without saying that both parties have a vested interest in this case. Both want to preserve the image of Cricket Australia and maintain the integrity while also being fair to the players and allowing them to still continue the game they love. To begin resolving this conflict, both teams need to come into negotiations with an open mind and understand that there will have to be compromises from all sides. Both sides should know their stances clearly and be able to express them to the other party upon entering negotiations. Both need to ask well-thought-out questions that lead into lengthy responses. They should avoid asking questions with yes and no answers and other one-word responses. Additionally, both teams need to be active listeners and really focus on hearing what the other party's position is, what their needs are, what their concerns are. Being an active listener requires them to hear each other out and not make negative, untrue assumptions of each other. Also, both parties should be conscious of their body language. For both parties to be receptive, they need to be cautious of not seeming closed off by turning away from the other party while they are speaking or avoiding eye contact. To do all of these things and resolve the conflict, the parties should use the negotiation technique of integrative negotiation. This method has the best chance of preserving their relationship since they will need to work together moving forward. This negotiation technique will allow the parties to find a mutual ground and hopefully reach an agreement that will resolve the conflict. In the end, I hope this technique will lead to the most mutually beneficial resolution. Again, both sides need to go in with an open mind, a well-thought-out stance that they are able to make clear at the beginning of negotiations, well-thought-out and purposeful questions that are leading in the discussion in the correct way, avoiding questions with one-word responses such as yes and no, And finally, they need to be ready to be an active listener. If they do these things, I do not see many reasons that they would be unable to find common ground and both sides can come out of negotiations feeling like they have won. I hope this recommendation was helpful, and I hope all went well in the actual negotiations. So thank you for listening.